Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're taking a deep dive into marketing, specifically with Alan Dibb's The One-Page Marketing Plan.
Oh, an excellent choice.
Yeah, it's a book that really cuts through the noise,
Yeah.
and gets straight to the heart of what makes marketing work.
It certainly does. Dib's all about action, implementation, and he hates all the fluff.
Yeah.
And he's got this great philosophy, I think. He's a collector of what he calls elegant ideas.
Hmm.
He doesn't believe in reinventing the wheel. He believes in modeling success, looking at what already works.
Yeah. Taking those sort of proven tactics.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and he starts off the book with a really, really fascinating question, I think, which is, why do professionals rely on plans?
Oh, that's a good one.
You think about it, surgeons, pilots, architects.
Anyone with high stakes.
Yeah, they've got these blueprints. They know exactly what they're doing.
Right. But in the business world, so many businesses, especially smaller ones, they're kind of wandering around without a map. They haven't really sat down and thought about their marketing strategy.
Yeah. He really goes on to say that most businesses have a marketing plan. It's the one that's happening by default.
Yeah, by accident, exactly.
Yeah, by
And that's not a good plan. So Dib says you need to have a real plan, like a real, concise, actionable plan. And that's what this one-page marketing plan is all about. It's not one of those huge, big, fat business plans that sits on the shelf gathering dust.
Right. And he digs into that, too, with the 80-20 principle.
Right, a classic.
That we should be focusing on those 20% of efforts that are driving 80% of the results. But then he even pushes it further.
Yeah.
Which is really fascinating to the 644 rule.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So if you think about 80-20, and then you apply 80-20 to the 20%, you get down to just 4%.
Wow.
4% of your actions are driving 64% of your results. So It's about really figuring out what those 4% are and then ruthlessly eliminating everything else. Like that's powerful stuff.
That's hardcore prioritization.
It is.
Yeah. So Dibb then wants to lay a foundation, right? And he says, we've got to ask ourselves, what is marketing? Like, how do we actually define it? And he uses a great analogy of a circus to illustrate the difference between advertising and promotion.
Ooh, I love this analogy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So advertising is like announcing that the circus has come to town.
Right.
But promotion is like getting an elephant and then putting a sign on its back with your message and parading it through the streets.
Yeah. Nobody misses that.
Exactly. Nobody misses that. And that's kind of the difference, right? Marketing is not just about getting your name out there. It's about strategically attracting customers.
Yeah, it's a targeted approach. It's about acquiring and retaining customers.
Right. Absolutely. And the game has changed so much, We're not in the Yellow Pages era anymore.
Yeah.
We're in the digital age. There's so much competition online. And you have to adapt. You have to be smarter about your marketing.
Right. You got to be much more strategic. And I think one of the concepts he talks about that really seems counterintuitive is focusing down. Really narrowing your ideal customer.
Right. So many businesses try to be everything to everyone, and it doesn't work. You can't resonate with everybody.
Right.
You need to figure out your niche, who you serve best, and go all in on that.
Yeah.
And Dibb talks about this concept of the avatar, like creating a detailed persona of your ideal customer. Like he gives this example of Angela the assistant, and he really gets specific about her demographics, her psychographics, her pain points.
Yeah, and then it helps you to really sort of get inside the head of your ideal customer so you can talk directly to their needs and desires.
Absolutely. And then he's got this other great tool called the PVP index.
The PVP index.
Yeah, which stands for personal fulfillment, value to the market, and profitability. And it helps you assess like different niches. Like, is this something you actually enjoy doing? Is there a market for it? And can you make money from it?
Right. So you really need to, it's not just about what you want to do. It's got to be something that's valuable and profitable.
Exactly. You need all three of those things working together.
Now, once you've got that ideal customer in mind, Dibb says, okay, let's talk about crafting your message. And he says that, most small businesses, their advertising is just, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's boring. It's self-centered. It's all me.
Yeah.
And people don't care about that. They want to know what's in it for them.
Right.
So he talks about the unique selling proposition, the USP, what makes you different.
Right. Why should I pick you instead of the 10 other people doing the same thing?
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be revolutionary, Like think about the iPod. The iPod wasn't the first MP3 player.
Right.
But their USP was 1,000 songs in your pocket. It was simple, compelling, and it resonated with people.
Yeah, and that USP ties directly into this concept he introduces called the ethical bribe.
Oh, yes, the ethical bribe.
What a great
I
term.
love it.
Yeah.
So the ethical bribe is basically a valuable piece of content that you offer for free
Hmm.
in exchange for contact information, like an ebook, a guide, a webinar, something that solves a specific problem
Right.
for your ideal customer.
So it's a win-win. You get valuable leads, they get valuable information, but the journey doesn't stop there.
Right.
Dib talks about the importance of nurturing those leads, and he brings up Joe Girard.
Oh, Joe Girard, the world's greatest salesman.
Yeah, the car salesman who got himself in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, his secret, follow-up.
Yeah.
Relentless follow-up. Every month, he sent out personalized greeting cards to every single customer.
That is dedication.
It is. And, a lot of people, they get so focused on closing that initial sale, they forget about building relationships. The fortune is in the follow-up.
Mm.
Stay top of mind, nurture those relationships. You build loyalty, you get repeat business.
Mm-hmm. So what would be a good way for someone to kind of track all that? Because, I mean, you're sending out greeting cards. Like, how are you keeping track of all those customers?
Well, in today's world, there's this amazing thing called a CRM, a customer relationship management system.
Right.
It helps you manage leads, automate follow-ups, track all your interactions. You can even personalize everything at scale.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that on previous episodes. Really, really powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
Now, Dib, he also talks about something called the shock and awe package,
Ooh, yes.
which just sounds really intense.
It's like taking follow-up to the next level. So instead of just sending an email, you send a physical package.
Okay.
Like, think about it. You get this box in the mail, you open it up, there's like a personalized note, some cool resources, maybe even a gift.
Like a birthday.
It is. It's like a little birthday. And it just shows that you care. It makes an impression.
Yeah. So now we've talked about getting those customers, but Dib doesn't just want you to get them. He wants you to create a tribe, right? Like a community of loyal customers who love your brand and want to tell everybody about it.
Yeah, it's about turning your customers into raving fans. And that starts with delivering a world-class experience.
Right, going above and beyond.
Yeah.
Making them feel special.
Exactly. Like, think about Guinness. Guinness, the beer,
Yeah.
they have this whole ritual, right, with the pour. It takes time.
Right.
But they turned that into a positive. They made it about the craftsmanship, the care, the experience.
So they took something that could have been perceived as a negative, like waiting for your beer,
Yeah, they reframed it.
and turned it into a positive.
They turned it into a feature. Yeah.
Yeah. That's smart.
It is.
Now, when you've got customers that love you, you get one of the most powerful forms of marketing, which is referrals.
Oh, absolutely.
And Dib says that we shouldn't just hope for referrals.
Right.
We should orchestrate them.
We should actively seek them out.
Yeah. And he connects this back to Joe Girard and his law of 250.
The law of 250, yeah.
Which basically says that most people have about 250 people in their lives they deem significant.
Yeah, like the people you'd invite to a wedding or a funeral.
Right. And so if you think about that, if even one customer loves you, they could potentially introduce you to 250 new people.
Exactly. And those 250 people have their own 250 people and so on and so forth.
That's a lot of people.
It's a ripple effect. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah. So Dib says, as for those referrals, make it easy for people to refer you. And even consider incentivizing them.
Yeah, give them a reason to help you spread the word.
Mm-hmm. So, we live in this digital world. Everybody's online. But Dib makes a case for something that seems kind of old-fashioned, which is postal mail.
Ah, yes. But not just any postal mail. He talks about lumpy mail.
Lumpy mail. Now, what is that exactly?
It's sending something in the mail that's not just a flat envelope.
Okay.
So, it could be a book, a sample product, something that creates that tactile experience. It stands out in the mailbox.
People are curious. Ooh, what is this?
Exactly. It cuts through all the digital clutter.
So Dib really wants us to kind of think outside the box.
He does?
Yeah. So we've got all this marketing stuff going on.
Yeah.
How do we manage it all? Like, how do we keep from getting overwhelmed?
Well, that's where systems come in.
Systems, okay.
Yeah, think about McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is a massive global business, right?
Yeah.
But they run on systems. Every single process, from making a Big Mac to handling a customer complaint, is documented, standardized, streamlined.
Right.
And that allows them to scale. It allows them to operate efficiently.
So basically, it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And Dib talks about the concept of firing yourself as the ultimate goal.
Hiring yourself.
Yeah, you build the business to the point where it can run without you. You create systems, you delegate, you automate, and then you can step back and focus on the things that only you can do.
Like big picture stuff, strategy.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It is. So, we've covered a lot, but Dib doesn't stop there. He also tackles the topic of branding. And he has a really simple definition. He says, a brand is the personality of your business.
Okay.
It's the experiences you create, the emotions you evoke.
So it's more than just a logo.
Way more. It's about your values, your culture, the way you treat people.
That's everything.
It's everything. And he talks about this idea of being a voice of value.
Voice of value.
Yeah, this is really powerful. It's about shifting from being a salesperson to being an educator.
Okay.
So instead of constantly pitching your product, you're providing valuable information. You're sharing your expertise. You're building trust.
You're becoming that go-to person, that thought leader.
Exactly. You're becoming a resource.
Now, we talked at the beginning about condensing all this information into like a 10-point summary.
We did. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm taking notes. Hit me with it.
All right. Number 1. Professionals have plans. Just like a surgeon wouldn't operate without a plan, your business needs a clear marketing strategy. Number 2. Marketing is about strategically acquiring and retaining customers, not just getting your name out there. Number 3. Focus on your ideal customer. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Number 4. Have a clear and compelling unique selling proposition, your USP. What makes you different? Number 5, create an irresistible offer, something that truly solves your customers' problems. Number 6, capture leads strategically. Use things like ethical bribes, valuable content. Number 7, nurture those leads with consistent and valuable follow-up. Build those relationships. Number 8, deliver a world-class customer experience. Wow them, turn them into raving fans. Number 9, systematize everything. Create processes and automate where possible. And number 10, build a brand that authentically reflects your personality and values.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to unpack, but
Yeah.
but it really does cover the key points of the book, right?
It does, and it's all about taking action. Remember, knowledge without implementation is useless.
Yeah, Dib's all about that action. Don't just read the book, do something.
Exactly. Test things out, experiment, see what works.
10 points, that's it. That's the one-page marketing plan in a nutshell. Dib really boils it down to the essentials.
Yeah.
But as I was reading the book, one thing that really struck me was his emphasis on measuring effectiveness.
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in just being visible,
Yeah.
like getting your name out there, getting likes and followers.
Yeah.
But Dib's like, okay, that's great, but is it actually producing results,
Right. Are those likes turning into sales?
Exactly. So he talks about being strategic about which media channels you use, tracking your return on investment, making sure every dollar you spend is actually bringing in customers and generating profit.
It's about focusing on the metrics that matter, not just vanity metrics.
Yeah, right. And he also makes a really important distinction between marketing for large companies versus marketing for small businesses.
Okay. Yeah. How is that different?
So big companies, they can afford to just focus on brand awareness, just getting their logo out there.
Right. Right. They've got big budgets.
Exactly. But small businesses, we need to be much more focused on generating leads and driving sales.
We need to see that direct connection between our marketing efforts and our revenue.
Absolutely. And Dib talks about this concept of the front end versus the back end.
Okay. What does that mean?
So the front end is the immediate profit you make from a sale.
Okay.
But the back end is the lifetime value of that customer. So all the repeat business, the upsells, all the additional revenue they generate over time.
So a campaign that might not seem profitable at first could actually be very profitable in the long run.
Exactly. You got to look at the big picture. And we can't talk about marketing without talking about social media.
Right. Everybody's on social media these days.
It's everywhere. But Dib has a really interesting perspective on it. He says, social media can be great, but it's not a silver bullet.
Okay.
And he really emphasizes that it's not free.
Right. Even though it's free to sign up.
Yeah, you're still investing your time. And time is money.
Big time.
And he also says that social media is not always the best place to actually sell things.
Okay. So what's it good for?
Well, it's great for building relationships, providing value, establishing social proof.
Right. It's about connecting with people.
Exactly. And then, once you've built that connection, you want to try to move those people off of social media onto platforms that you own, like your email list.
So you're not at the mercy of the algorithm.
Right. You're in control. And speaking of email, Dib also talks about email marketing. And some people think email is dead.
Yeah, it's so old school.
Right. But Dib says, no, no, no. Email is still a powerful tool,
Okay.
but you got to do it right. You can't just be sending out sporadic sales pitches.
Right. Nobody wants that.
You got to provide value. You got to segment your lists. You got to automate your campaigns.
So it's about nurturing those relationships.
Exactly. Now, we talked about this earlier, but I really want to circle back to this idea of becoming a voice of value.
Yeah, that one really stuck with me too. It's powerful.
It is. It's about becoming that trusted advisor, that go-to expert in your industry.
Sharing your knowledge, helping people.
Exactly. And you do that by consistently providing value, by educating your audience, by building genuine relationships.
So it's really about shifting your mindset from selling to serving.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the biggest takeaway from the one-page marketing plan is this. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Try new things.
Yes. Test things out. See what works. Don't be afraid to fail. Because marketing is all about learning and adapting.
It's about being nimble, staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And the more you experiment, the more you learn, the better your marketing will become.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. So to all our listeners out there, go forth and experiment. Take those 10 points, put them into action, and see what amazing results you can achieve.